Hello and goodbye. I'm just kidding. Welcome back to Dress Code, everybody. I am Count Snatchula. I don't know. I was trying. I don't know where my brain is right now. We took 1 week off, and suddenly I've forgotten how to be a human being.
Things fall
as you may have guessed from the goings on in this general direction. How's everyone doing? We are back with yet another episode of Dress Code, where Lizzie and I and our guest producer Snacky are going to go through all the looks from Canada's Drag Race and Drag Race UK. As is tradition with every time I do this, there are more looks than I was anticipating because on Drag Race UK they did a ball, and so we have 15 looks from them. And
yes,
how many girls are we down to on?
10.
10, so 25.
Yeah, and okay, you will see in these upcoming slides, very interesting difference between Canada and UK is that Canada never shows the full outfit, ever. You never get a clear view of it. It's the worst. And UK, today I pushed the consistency of UK to prove a point.
Okay, so we're not only going for the looks, we are going for the editing this episode.
Oh, yes. I'll go for anything you let me go for.
We have to keep Lizzie on a very short leash. We have to make sure that she doesn't go directly to World of Wonder Studios and be like, listen up, motherfuckers.
I don't got to go to them.
Do your job and showcase drag properly because I have a Twitch stream I need to run and I have to get screenshots of this shit. So, you want to get yourself together, let's fucking go.
Oh, my God. Well, someone needs to do it.
And I'm so glad it's you. You're just going to sick Snacky on them and it'll be great.
Oh, and he would.
And
He's
vicious. He's vicious. I've heard him growling the whole day. He relentlessly attacked my wrist when I got in.
Oh,
with the
yes.
roughest of tiny little tongues.
The little velvet tongue.
The littlest of velvet tongues. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So, our first look for Canada's Drag Race is your hostess with the neon mostest, Miss Brooklyn Heights, giving you a sort of like kind of Art Deco inspired. She's got this very sort of sculptural blonde hair. I liked the sort of like waves in it, the little sort of like flips at the front of the bang. She does just look like a highlighter, but in the most glamorous way possible.
Yeah, this has like a little bit of like a Miami Versace kind of vibe. And I was thinking, I don't know that I've ever seen somebody do like a square hair swoop so structural like that. And if I have and I don't remember, it's probably because it wasn't done as well as this seems to be done.
Yeah, this is just giving me like hair that you have traveled with that like got stuck in a suitcase, and the bang used to be a full like lovely swoop but got pushed up into a corner, so now it's just square. And we're making the most of the situation, but you know what? She's turning it out.
Garden Plaza says Brooke is almost doing too much on the runway, upstaging the girls. And I think Brooke is upstaging RuPaul in hosting and humor and charm.
I think she seems more human, which is already a good start.
Yes.
We're not getting any like Halloween decoration screech laughing with the dead face, which is great. And it's still near enough to Halloween that every time, like there's still Halloween decorations up, and every time I walk past one of the houses on my street that has like one of those things up, I'm just like, ah, yes, Drag Race. But yeah, she's definitely stepped her game up. And although we are going directly into this, and I see exactly what you mean about not getting the full look, which is a real shame because this was incredible. This is Kimora Amor. So the theme was like made in Canada, which I mean, slightly problematic theme. Like, no land acknowledgement, nothing like the sort. But
good point.
There was a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Made in Canada are the indigenous people of the land. But
good point.
If we're gonna try and sell Canadiana as an ideal, then I'm not on the producer's team, so I can't say anything about it. But that being said, this is Kimora Amor as Deborah Cox as Josephine Baker. This is an inception of references. And it is like, this is great. Like, this is hitting a lot of really wonderful marks for me in terms of like the level of detail and how all of the things are incorporated. It's this gorgeous yellow, like canary yellow color, which looks wonderful on her skin. She made this. She's got this whole, like, she's representing her, like, Caribbean heritage and also this sort of, like, Josephine Baker, like, burlesque vaudeville performer with all of the feathers in the headpiece and on the arms. There's also, I believe, feathers on the back of the garment.
Yeah.
The tailpiece.
Yeah, the tailpiece is cute.
I really like that detail. This is, like, sort of like high fashion Tweety Bird is what this is giving me in the best way possible.
And very Big Bird as well.
And Big Bird, yeah. High fashion Big Bird. But I really like this. I mean, this is also, she sort of like said herself, kind of a pageant reference, and Brooke picked up on that as well. Kimura's got a history of like winning pageants. She won one here in Toronto. She's still, I believe, the current reigning Miss Opulence. So she kind of understands that level of theatricality, and I think that it works really well in her favor for this runway.
Yes, and you'll see it's very funny. They seem to have sent all yellow out first, kind of.
And it was all yellow.
Odd. Yeah.
So this is Cynthia Kiss as an homage to Jeannie Becker, which I really like. I think I'm surprised no one did her for Snatch Game, quite honestly, because I think that would have been a great character. But we got some Jeannie Becker on the runway. I know that this is like a drag interpretation of like the idea of Jeannie Becker, but I kind of wish that there was something that grounded it a little more in the like real person character to me, because this is just kind of like, looking at it, it's just kind of a power suit. I think my thing is like I wish the hair was darker, and it would read a little bit more as Jeannie to me.
Yeah.
But I do like the oversized blazer. I like how wide the shoulders are, and then comes into this sort of like tiny waist and this sort of pencil skirt that gives you almost a straight line down through the legs. The platform shoe, she had a little microphone. It's very like, 80s power suit. It's not quite my favorite type of 80s power suit, which is a Mugler power suit, but I will accept it because it's not couture, it's drag, it's allowed to be someone's interpretation, I guess.
Yeah, I like the hips look a little structured now that I'm seeing it still. That's pretty.
Yeah, I like that there's sort of like built-in shape into the garment, and it's still giving her sort of like definition in the waist. But I think the waist is also like raised up a little bit, so it makes the legs look that much longer. There's a real sort of like fun proportion going on here.
I feel like when they got this prompt as well, this feels like one of the few people who actually picked an icon and had a direct thought about it. Everybody else feels like they Googled Canadian icons, thought, oh my God, she played a nurse in something. Oh my God, she played this in something. I want to wear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did get two Sandra O's, I believe.
Yes, we did.
And this is one of them. So this is Suki Doll, and did you manage to get a photo of the look before this, where she's holding a trench over her shoulder?
No, and I chose not to because everybody thinks the trench is cute, and I think it's blinding us all from how effing terrible what's underneath was.
I agree with you. I was not a fan of this particular look. I was not a fan of the proportions of it. I did like the little detail that there were oversized buttons on the trench, and there were also oversized buttons on the detailing of the shoulders of the dress. But something about the way that this is cut looks like fucking Legs Go All the Way Up Griffin from Family Guy. Like, it looks like her hip is right below her bust, and it goes all the way down.
Wow, yeah, yes, the dress is so badly fit. It looks like a bad shirt that is being worn as a dress.
Yes, and I think in this particular instance, I don't know if Suki is a performer who pads, but there isn't anything sort of like filling out the front of the bust of this garment, and I think that's also dealing with the fit of it. Also, if there was like a petticoat or like an underskirt underneath this to give it a little bit more shape, I don't think it would look quite as loose, like unintentionally loose as it does. I will say though, her makeup and her hair, like from the sort of neck up, she looks stunning, and also I love the shoes.
Oh my God, I was like, okay, before we go, I have to make this point, and it was exactly what you just said. Hair, makeup, shoes, A+.
Yeah, like everything peripherally is great. It's just what she's wearing was not the one. Okay, this is Adriana.
Yeah.
As I don't think I know who this person was.
I think she said the person's name was Vanessa Morgan.
Kat, do you know who that is? Because I don't.
Yeah, if anybody does know, let us know. She said she is a lesbian icon, and there's something about her that's very serpentine. I don't.
Yeah, maybe that was a reference to like her work. I don't know if she's, you know, a actress, television personality, whatever it may be. So that particular aspect of the look is lost on me. Mm-hmm. I like this. The snakes throw me off a little bit, and that could very well be that I just don't know what the reference is. But I don't know if it's supposed to look like the snakes are going like in and out of the garment, but they look like they've been cut off.
Yeah, they look like cucumbers.
They look like cucumbers, and I don't think that was the intent.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that was the intent.
I do want to say she's fucking hot, though.
Yes. I like a lot of things about this. I wish the proportion of the like neck corset and the actual corset were a little bit different, because they're making her body look a little bit boxy.
Yes.
I wish that there had been something like maybe the placement of the snakes had given her a little bit more of a figure, just because this sort of like PVC armband legging thing with the leather jacket, like that's really cool, and that's giving me very sort of like superhero kind of like post-apocalyptic a little bit, but I would have liked to have seen a little more shape in the center of it. Also, having a neck corset that goes out past your shoulders is going to make your shoulders look broader, which is going to make you look a little bit top heavy, and with her, like her features and her like proportions with the hair are really nice here, but it's making her head look quite a bit smaller than her shoulders, which is then making her, you know, torso look broader, which is making her legs look actually thinner, and it's looking a little sort of like center heavy for me.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I like the jacket, and I also thought a lot of times there's fabrics that no matter what, it always looks a little cheap, and I think sometimes this kind of latexy, like fake latex can be that. But this, I loved this purple. I thought that this was like a bit of an exception to that. I thought that this was so out of the box of a color that it dressed it up.
Yes. I see Kitty in the chat saying, Lucinda and I agree that the corset was not made to measure. Yeah, I mean, you would know. And I think this is a very clear example of, you know, not an ideal situation. So, on to the next one. We have Geometric as Mike Myers, as Austin Powers. My biggest problem with this is the hair color.
Is it that you want an Austin Powers hair color?
It is that. If you were going to go for if you were going to go for such a direct reference to the character, I feel like changing the hair color, you could have done a different style, but like, for me, it's like the color is what sort of grounds this as a fully realized homage to this person. It's kind of how I feel about the Jeannie Becker as well. Like, I really like a lot of parts of this. This is reminding me a little bit of Naomi Smalls' like Prince runway. Mm-hmm. Just in terms of like the velvet and the frills and the like high cut bodysuit. I just like I personally can't get over the hair color.
I see that. I feel like there's elements of this that could be like Butch Cinderella or something. Mm-hmm, there's like such a Cinderella thing happening with the makeup and the hair and the haircut. I loved this, but I still felt like it was a reach. It was an excuse to wear like a sickening design. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do, I think this is a pretty good example of like if you want to do a like high fashion version of a sort of costume, then I think it's fairly successful on that front. But I wish that there'd just been like a little bit more oomph to it.
Yeah, and the accuracy of the hair, I do see what you mean. It feels like it takes it even more of a stretch.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care. This hair is cute on me. I'm wearing this.
Yeah. Okay. Kendall Jenner as Stacey McKenzie. And I'm wondering if she picked this out before we found out that Stacey wasn't going to be a judge on the season.
I loved it.
I love it, but like, do we owe that to Stacey? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least this is somebody that's like directly on the nose a reference, not them as somebody in this movie.
yeah, doing this thing as, we're not getting an exception here. This is straight up like, I am Stacey McKenzie.
Brooke loved it.
Brooke loved it, but her like Stacey voice, we're like, we missed you, Stacey. That made me laugh. Because Stacey McKenzie like is an icon and a legend and a star, and I love her dearly. This is a bold choice, especially if you want to like come out and deliver as, you know, Canada's premier supermodel, essentially. So on that front, like outside of the initial, you know, reference of it, you're able to, for me, you're able to pick up that, you know, this is supposed to be Stacey McKenzie right away. I would have liked to see a little bit more of an elevation to it in terms of like the fashion side of it, just because this is someone who has a very strong tie with the fashion world, and to me, this is kind of just a dress.
Yeah. It even feels like it's just a look that's lifted off Drag Race. I don't even think that this is referencing any other iconic moment other than this one season on a show she's on. It feels a little, yeah.
Yeah, because did Stacey wear something like this for the season 1 promo? Because they were all in red.
Yeah, I do believe
'cause I think
that's
where that's coming from.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was all right. Okay, Eve 6000 as, again, someone who I forget, but...
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss. There we go.
Yes.
Eve 6000 in her flat hair.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I mean, her reaction was hilarious. You know what? I feel like people are going to be pissy about her reaction, but finally someone actually responding to the judges and being like, what you're saying is nonsense. Like, none of this makes sense. Yeah. I loved it.
It's like, and also like the context that it was in, it was like, oh yeah, when I think of her, I think of this like slicked back hair, and your hair looks flat. I'm like, so.
Yes. So what do you mean?
So it is the thing that you're saying you want it to be, but it's also not.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's pick a lane here.
Do you pick a lane and stay in it? I liked this. I think my thing with it is, I wish that the greens matched.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, and I know that's like really hard to do when you've got these like laser cut, like glasses and jewelry, and it's this very like neon thing. But if you're going to do the Matrix, like I associate it with this like, you know, screen burned like coating, like vivid green on black, and the lining of the skirt just like is too dark for me. It's almost like value-wise, it's closer to the black that you sort of like lose. To me, you lose the leg against it, whereas if the lining was brighter, I think you would have gotten a stronger silhouette of what's going on underneath. I mean, this also isn't a super flattering photo. It looks like she's about to like somebody.
Listen, I'm telling you, it was so hard. Like all of them are mid-walk because, good Lord. Impossible.
Yeah. I commend you and I applaud you for all of your work. If you're going to tip during this show, tip for all the work that Lizzie does finding these fucking screenshots, because Lord knows. It's like down to the millisecond.
Okay, so now having the different greens pointed out, I really see it. I do feel like that does take away a tiny bit now. But I loved this, and I am blown away by her shape that she's built here. It's lovely. This, the body shape that she's sculpted out, and the way that the shoulder pads fit into the arms, and it's all nice and tight and not bunchy. Ooh, loved it. And the earrings I thought were really clever to have the neon letters binary punched out on top of all that black. Funny, funny, funny.
Yeah, I think that is really cool.
Yeah. And actually, I think she delivered this really well. She did all kinds of like throwing the coat back that looked very practiced.
Yes, I will say, like, I think this was one of her stronger runway presentations. Because comparing this to the Good Girls Gone Bad runway of last week, where she had her little like Betty Boop reveal, you could see in her mind that she was like counting down to when she had to do the next thing, and this felt a little bit more organic. That being said, I do agree that it doesn't, like, there's something about Eve's presentation that just does not feel genuine.
Yeah, she doesn't seem happy to be there.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was able to get this from far away, and this was up close. But let's do the far away so we can get all of it.
Okay, so this is our second Sandra Oh, I believe. But as a bit more abstract, seeing as Isis is not an Asian woman. So this is kind of more an homage to, I believe, those the like healthcare workers, and after all of the shit that they've been through over the past couple of years. I like this. I don't get the runway theme from it. To me, this is like Sarah Paulson in Ratchet. This is
yes.
This is like very. I like that it's sort of this like vintage take on nurse wear without going the like fetish route. It feels very apt to the decade, and I like that a lot about it.
Yeah. I felt like this went so far in the direction of her personal vision that it read like it was for a different runway, not the one that they were assigned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you had trouble with the screenshots, but this is fantastic. This is just a mood.
This was awesome.
This was awesome. First of all, Catherine O'Hara is a great person. Again, someone else who would have been really good to do on Snatch Game. Very difficult to do well, but
oh yes,
very difficult to do well. But like, there's so many like Moira Rose isms that you could have brought into it that you could have made hilarious. And again, there is a lot of really interesting like conceptual thought about this. My favorite part about it is the shoes.
Yeah.
Like, to create talons that look like that, incredible. And like, there was like feather detailing on the outside of the gloves that you can see. She was kind of like the antithesis to Kimura's look, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
I liked the little beak nose. It was giving me Abora from Dragula.
Yes.
Really
yeah, definitely. I got this. I wanted to try to find something to show her makeup too, because I thought she looked like genuinely pretty as well in this look.
Yes, which is it's kind of an interesting statement where you're just like, yes, you look great as a bird.
Yeah, it's funny. She pulls so many ooky spooky looks and gothy looks, but this had a different like human, even again as a bird, thing to it. And yeah, real pretty.
Yeah, I like how in this image, I like how sharp everything is her makeup, and I think that's trying to like match the sharpness of the beak, like the point of the lip, the inner corner of the eye, the brow, the way that the eye makeup just sort of like comes off in these like feather like points. I think that's a really nice detail.
Yeah, the stones were nice too with it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
That was great. Okay. So we are on to Drag Race UK, and they did a ball.
And RuPaul came in her laundry doing dress.
She looks like upholstery. She looks like an ugly couch, which is, I mean, on brand because this was the Fugly Ball, which I don't know how they got away with that, quite honestly. I genuinely don't know. I don't like this look. I don't like the fabric. I don't like the shapes. I don't like the height of the shoulders. I do not care for this.
Yes, I do not like this, Sam. I am.
Yeah. So there were 3 categories, and this was a chaotic week for these girls because what they did was they had, I believe, 69 minutes. Nice. For their first look, they had 60 for their second, and then 30 for their third. So they had, like, from being out of drag, they had just over an hour to get into drag, get dressed, and get on the runway. And they had to do that 3 times. And my God, did that give me flashbacks. The chaos of like getting ready for a pageant and knowing that you will never have as much time as you think you do is triggering mostly. However, I think that they should all be commended on getting through it, quite honestly, because good Lord. Up first was the category of fugly swimwear. So we have Vanity Milan, and I personally really liked this. I think that the comments about the fit were valid, but given the like choice of material, I think this was really interesting, and I think it was really cool.
I hated this, but
Fair
then
enough.
I also don't know how we're supposed to talk about this runway. Like it's so silly to be like, well, I'm an authority on which kind of fugly is good. This is the good fugly, and that, like, I don't know. So I could have done without the shower cap. I could have done without this wig. I could have done without the gems. I could have done without the 3-strap platform shoes. I could have done without the grayish tights not matching the skin. I don't know. I could have done without a lot of it. Love Vanity Milan, but didn't love any part of this.
Yeah, I mean, you make a very valid point. Like, this is subjective, and it is an interesting take to see. Like, we've heard so much over the years that Drag Race has been on. We've heard so much critique and analysis as to what is good and what is pretty and what is interesting and what is avant-garde and all those things. So it is interesting to have sort of the flip side of that and be like, okay, now we're telling you to be fugly. We're telling you to be like uncomfortable to the degree where it like works again.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. On to the next. Hitty Scott-Clour, who I make no secret about absolutely loving this episode. I think she is one of my front runners of this season, but this episode definitely solidified it for me. I really liked this. To me, like, this didn't read as fugly, so I mean, there's a little discrepancy as to whether that was on theme or not, because it reads as like kitschy, which I don't know if Feel free to tell me if you think that that's the same thing, but
I don't think it is. No, I don't think they're the same. Kitschy, I think is like naturally charming and attractive. It's little bits and niceness, and fugly, I feel like, is like shocking and makes you kind of laugh when you see it. It's so bad.
Yeah. Do you think there's also like, and again, this could be just an incredible reach, but like, do you think people were going for tacky?
Yes. Yes, I think it tacky was what everybody read the prompt as. And I want to
Hmm.
say that it did bother me, and this is going off of Garden Plaza's last comment. It did bother me that this idea of tacky all involved large breasts.
Yes,
That was
and
weird.
it's one of those things. And hold on, I need to hydrate. I was having a full pose moment. Um, this is something that I find that kind of builds off of last week's like Canada's Drag Race runway, where it's the whole like good girl gone bad, and the entire premise for a lot of the looks was that like is like inherently like sexual or sexualized, and that's demonizing and damning in a lot of ways. So this kind of continues in that vein of, oh well, if it's fugly, that means it's like tacky, and it's, this type of person
Yeah, it
in
brings a
this type of
person into it.
presentation has a certain connotation about it,
Yeah.
and it's being parodied by, from what I understand, like a bunch of queer cis individuals who are just like poking fun at the sexualization of bodies and women, and it's there's a lot of issues. Again, we're watching Drag Race. There's going to be a lot of issues about a lot of things, but I think that's a very valid point as to, why are we going this route with these things? It's
Yeah.
Why are we relying on this character to sell the idea of fugly or tacky or, taboo or whatever it may be?
I think that it's really backed up in some of the scenes. It wasn't like I'm wearing this, it's I'm the crazy cat lady, or look at me, I'm the mum from this place. And yeah, it was all choosing people that they thought were tacky humans.
Yeah. And here we have our crazy cat lady, Scarlett Harlett. This did not make sense to me.
This made no fucking sense.
This does not look like swimwear to me. It does not even look like vintage swimwear to me. It looks like a tiny little dress. Outside of the like nose plug and the like kind of swim cap that she had on, um, this I just did not like.
No. I it made uh, uh, so when I was watching this, it actually made me concerned that I had smoked too much weed and I had forgotten midway through what the runway was. And then something clicked and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're seeing swimsuits right now." And am I crazy? Am I not seeing a cat lady here? Yeah, it completely fucked my brain up.
Also, like, Scarlett is I don't think one that we've seen do a lot of like really exaggerated padding, and I in this particular instance, from a purely sort of like balanced body proportion thing, like her lower half is so much smaller than her upper half, and these breasts that it like the focus is just on the cleavage, and we are back in the situation of like the garment doesn't even really matter. It's about like, look how much breast I'm showing. Look at all of this. Look at how fugly. Look at how tacky this is. I didn't care for the concept behind this. I didn't care for the presentation of this either. This was just not the one. Okay. Ella Vaday. I I don't know. I don't know if I hate this or not.
But don't you think that that makes it fit exactly what they're supposed
Yes,
to
like
do?
the fact that this is making me question how I feel about it, I think means that it is the most on theme of the things that we've seen so far. Um,
And the hair, like in the back, it had bumps in it, and
yeah, like
and the shoes, the cupcake
the
shoes.
cupcake shoes, this just like metallic tire print with this contrasting like plaid, like this is fugly, and like it has to be like I have to like give it props because it is what it is.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. And I feel like she, if she was bringing a character to this, it was really like joyful and fun to participate in watching it. So I don't know. I feel like this is more about the aesthetic of everything she was wearing.
Hmm.
And Garden Plaza's accurate. Ella trying her hardest to not be hot. Yeah.
Right? It's funny to sort of see this after we were talking about her giving this like older woman energy. I still get that. But
Yes.
I think this is her trying to be like the cool mom from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Like that's the narrative that I get from this. Being just like, hey kids, like I'm wearing the latest fashions. Don't I look great? And you're like, oh god, no. Like
The mom was like, come on, I want to go to Ibiza with you too.
right? Let mom have fun.
I like the DJs.
All right. Crystal Versace. I have to give Crystal credit for going as hard as she did on this.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think it's fugly? No. I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's like poorly executed cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like grungy.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think this hits the brief for me. Although I guess it does kind of say a lot about Crystal's perception of what ugly is.
Yeah, I know. All throughout this, really.
Yeah. I feel like this was a real struggle for her, and we did hear her talk a little bit about it, like in the episode, about how sort of like difficult it is for her to not be sexy and to not like have this character that she plays. So I have to give her props for this, but I do not think that this fits the brief.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think that she went for like, yeah, it's still hot. Yeah, it's great, but not great. Oh, now we're into charity shop.
Into look two. So look two was charity shop chic, um, where they had essentially a bunch of racks full of garments, accessories, shenanigans to go through, and they had to style a look, and they had to wear at least 5 things from that, which is, I mean, that's a lot to ask, I think, but good for them for doing it. I think, again, I think Kitty did a really good job this week. In this particular instance, I like that the breastplate is like gapping the front of this like cardigan,
Yeah.
because I feel like in this particular instance, it's lending to the fact that like you got this for cheap. It doesn't fit properly, but you're making the best of it. Like the skirt is really short. I like the color combination that she did here. I like the hair she's wearing a lot. Sunglasses were a common theme for this runway, or glasses in general.
They're like, it's my 5th item.
Yeah, literally. It was just like, oh no. I liked this. I thought this was quite well done.
Yeah, I thought, way to go. You go in there and you choose these 2 very unlikely to put together colors and thought really outside the box and pulled together like a very cute look for what the challenge was.
Yeah, this feels very Sex and the City to me.
Yeah, and I feel like she really tried hard too.
Mm-hmm. All right, Crystal Versace in a romper dress. Did she pin things together? I don't know. This didn't do it for me. I could not tell outside of the jewelry that there were like more charity shop things to this. It feels just kind of like a single garment with a bunch of stuff tied around it, and I feel like that was a situational issue because she had to get out of that bald cap and that makeup and redo an entire face, and then was just sort of left to get whatever was left from the other girls' pickings. But so I can't fault her on the fact that like time management was an issue here, I guess, but this just feels very basic, very uninspired.
Oh, yeah, and I feel like it takes a lot of gall to belittle somebody on a runway previous season for wearing what appeared to be H&M, and then create a situation where only secondhand goods that they've seen for 15 minutes are appropriate for runway. And that's what this look made me think immediately. I thought of Joe Black, and I thought, fuck you, RuPaul. That's so dumb. How dare you?
Absolutely.
So, that's what Crystal made me think. This picture.
This is, oh my god. This is giving me, like Patty and Selma from The Simpsons.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I've glammed up.
But like, it's just this pose and this face and this hair. I did not realize that until just now, but again, like, I don't know if I hate this.
Yeah, she killed it.
And therefore she killed it.
Yeah. It's more about she's put together a bunch of things that someone would literally be like, oh, these are all my favorite pieces. I'm wearing every single one all at once. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. That's so funny. Wow. Wow.
I mean, you're not wrong, but also how dare you?
The way she's looking back, too.
Right? I'm just like, scumbag.
Oh, amazing.
All right. See, I think with this, like, there's so many things, like, technically that I don't like about it. Like, I don't like the length of it. I think that the dress is just kind of, like, ugly. It hits her, like, at a weird spot in the knee. The green gloves with it, too much jewelry, the shoe. But, like, this is everything that it's supposed to be. And to have the confidence to wear something like this and be just like, yeah, I'm hot shit. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yep. And her character was different than what she brought for the first challenge. And again, it was a hilarious character that walked down that runway. So, yep, she did great again, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Vanity Milan. This, on the sort of flip side of it, like, this does not look fugly. I think she looks pretty great in this.
I think this is better than some of the runways she's chosen for herself.
I think this is better than some of the runways that she's done. Is it another orange look? Yes, but she looks great in orange, and she's managed to, like, coordinate several different oranges together, and she has this really nice sort of, like, blue at the waist. The hair works with it. The shoe is, like, pretty nondescript, but this is really about, I think in this instance, like, her shape and the shape of the garment on her body. So is it fugly? No. Does she look great? Yes. Where does that put us? I guess they two cancel each other out, so I don't have any opinions on this.
I think that not only did this hair look great with this look, but I think that she should consider wearing this kind of fashion mushroomy cut more often, because like Garden Plaza said, I saw this and I'm like, oh, you have such a gorgeous shoulder décolletage area. I wish this wig really flatters her whole shape overall.
Yeah, and like the neckline of this is just great. It's just great, and it's good for her.
It's Powder, the drag queen.
It's Powder, the cocaine.
Like, what the fuck? Why are you so white?
There is really not a whole lot I can say about this. I don't think that this was successful in it being fugly or it being, runway ready. To me, this was just like, I can't really see any of the details around this because, as you said, like there is no contrast between her skin and her hair, and then there is just this like black in the middle that has some sort of like silver belt detailing on it, and that's kind of it. I don't think that this is flattering, and I don't think it's intentionally unflattering. I I'm so like ambivalent about this that it makes me mad.
And I think that she's bringing this new attitude that she seems to have 180'd to the runway, which is overly confident. I think that the way that she delivered this look, I hated it. I hated the whole like bukkake thing that she did. Yeah, I felt like her win, or her top as Macaulay, I don't know. I think it gave her a bit of a bad attitude push she didn't need.
I agree with that, and I think that just sort of like throughout her runway presentations, we do see this level of either overconfidence or overcompensation, because Scarlett has been on a journey in the past couple of episodes,
Yeah.
and this episode for her particularly felt desperate.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so on to our final category, which is Fugly Couture.
Fugly but fashionable?
Fugly but fashionable, that's the one. Close enough. And up first we have Ella Vaday. I think this was actually one of her, like in the context of fugliness, I think this was her weakest one. Because there are a lot of things that I like about this. It's not making me think as hard as the other ones did. And the things that I don't like about this are like fit things as opposed to styling things. Predominantly the panty part of this garment. I wish that was differently cut. But outside of that, I really like the choice to have these like metallic gloves with this like plaid tartan. It was said like this is very Vivienne Westwood. I agree with that. This like neon yellow lining, the like really big sort of like geometric jewelry. I wish the hair hadn't come down onto the shoulders, just because we have this cape. I would have liked to have seen it like up in some sort of weird kind of way. Yeah, this one's sort of not quite fugly enough for me.
Yeah.
Is where I've landed.
It was funny in her confessional. She was saying, "Oh, I'm wearing chaps, and I'm wearing plaid." I was like, "When did plaid become a barf sound? I thought plaid's fine."
Plaid is great.
Plaid's fucking cool. Okay, what
Plaid's
the fuck?
fucking cool. Don't tell me that plaid's not cool. Plaid is cool.
Oh my god, this is the most unsuccessful Piccolo reproduction I have seen. Don't love it.
Don't love it, but I also kind of love it. This I think was, I mean, in terms of the like, but fashionable thing, I think this did a lot of things right for me, in terms of the like texture of it, of the detailing of it. If you're going to do a really exaggerated like silhouette that does not conform to your body and kind of like goes away from it in a lot of ways, for me, like because this is like puffer jacket material essentially that has been like paneled together. I don't know, there's something about this that I really liked.
Yeah, for me it gave me like stiff brand new sleeping bag. It didn't the way it moved, I felt like it maybe if it had a few more panels and the way they moved seemed more intentional, like a pleat in some way, not as fine as a pleat, but more panels would have stopped it from basically folding in half and crimping in half in parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gigi just makes a good point. This does look like one of those Victoria Rolf like slogan dresses. But and maybe like that's the thing that I like about it. It's reminiscent of that. I don't know. This still just like I still like this.
Yeah. Or I even wonder if maybe like stuffing each like the sections so much more would have made the dress have a stiffer bell shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look a little flimsy. All right. Crystal Versace in this what did Michelle say? Moschino meets something. She made a comparison.
Yeah.
But again, like, this to me doesn't read as fugly. This just reads as fashionable. Although I do think that it's funny where she's like, I'm doing this silhouette that I've never done before. This is the exact same silhouette as her Baby Spice look. So
yeah.
Questionable. But I like the amount of thought that went into this. I like the two different boots. I like this sort of like Muppet monster face, these like contrasting like faux fur bits. I like the wig. I like this. I don't think it's fugly.
Yeah. I think it's Crystal's idea of fugly. But yeah, I think she's too afraid to venture outside of beauty and pretty, even when she's doing something a bit gory. So
yeah, it's like, to me it seems that like her definition of fugly is just not sexy.
Yeah, exactly. Not stunning and like completely snatched. It's like, oh,
like
okay.
Bodycon.
Yes, and Aquaria did it better. Exactly.
Aquaria did do it better.
Yeah, I want to say too, in the Untucked, when somebody pissed her off by saying, "Oh yeah, that reminds me of Anubis's wig," I was like, "Way to make yourself look like such an amateur on TV that you can't even just be like, oh, it's another Wig Chapel wig." Do you know what I mean? Like, you're a drag performer in the UK. This isn't Anubis's wig. This is fucking a well-known wig maker.
Yeah. This is someone who like has a pretty tight hold over the wig market, not just in the UK, but like globally. So
yeah, this is proprietary. Okay.
Yeah, we can't be giving them any advertising.
Oh no, that isn't it. That's right. We had a couple more. My bad.
We have a couple more.
I mean, it's fugly.
It's a character.
Yeah.
It's like there is no fashion element to this, to me. This is just like, is it representative of like East London? Absolutely. But outside of that, it's not really anything.
Yeah, and I also think it's very easy for this challenge. Like, I think that being like, oh, I'll do chav as hard as I can do chav, it's like, yeah, okay, that's a predictable way to go.
Also, this reminded me, but there was a lot of like teeth stuff going on in these runways. There's a lot of like misshapen teeth and like braces and discolored teeth and things like that. And you know, it might seem like a little thing, but it's one of those things that kind of like the breastplates just like doesn't sit right with me. This idea that, you know, if you look anything other than like conventionally attractive, you are deemed worthy of ridicule and parody. And that's not something that I abide by personally, even though there is an entire sort of culture around making fun of British people's teeth. It's been a go-to in a lot of comedy, particularly like North American comedy. So that's just another thing that rubbed me the wrong way about this.
I did feel like that's why some of them pushed that so hard, because I do feel like that's just a known part of the British comedy universe, that, you know, the bad teeth thing is something that gets pushed a lot. So I thought, well, geez, I guess if anybody's going to fucking do it, it's, you know.
I guess, yeah, like if you're pointing the finger at yourself, it's fine. But
yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Sure. But
so,
yeah, didn't care for this.
No, thank you. This fucking look.
I loved everything about this. I loved everything about this. I like when she was getting ready in the workroom and we just saw this from like the neck up, I was like, where the fuck is this going? And she came out looking like this and I was like, yes. Like, yes. And to me, like, this did a really good job of, I think it was like Alan kind of calling Michelle out, her saying like, this isn't, you know, fashionable. I've seen a lot of like, I think he said like the Gucci collections. I've seen a lot of like.
Oh, I'd fucking wear this.
That like, this gives me like Victor and Rolf. This gives me Moschino. This gives me like Gucci. There's a lot of like knitwear things like this. I think this was quite brilliant, and it was a reveal, which I loved even better. Because like someone had to knit this is my favorite thing. Like someone had to sit down and knit this.
Yeah, and it was done so tight. Whoever she knows that knits is very good.
I really wanted to be like her grandma or something. Like,
yes.
Commission someone. Yeah, but like this, because it went from this like incredible sort of like knitted gown to this like 80s like high school sort of like rom-com character look that I get.
Oh wow, very that.
These like oversized sleeves, the ankle socks, this like tiny little skirt and this like sweater vest and the glasses and the hair. Like this was so good. This was so good.
Yeah, I definitely oh my god, and spoiler. Yeah. Can we say the spoiler of who won this week?
It was Kitty.
Oh, okay, yes, we can. Okay, and the way she immediately turned to the other girls and said, "Suck it, bitches!" Oh my god, so fucking funny.
It was like, after all of the like ribbing that she got about not having a badge, to like get it this week, just like, the story editing was good. It was right. It was right.
Yeah, it was great. She had the same kind of like giddy joy as when she found out that Emma Bunton was going to be there. Like she really just exploded with happiness, and it was nice to watch.
She just gets so genuinely excited about things.
Fully, yep.
I love her.
And that's it. That's it for our looks.
All right. So I haven't lost all of my skills.
No.
Still make it through 25 looks in under an hour.
Yes, amazing.
I'm a professional. Professional what? We're not sure, but that's why I wear a blazer and a tie.
Are you performing live tonight?
I am performing live tonight. I have my Friday gig at Night Owl, and I am very excited because I am bringing in Crema Cucci as my guest.
Amazing.
Yes, I have some very exciting guests lined up. I have Ocean Giovanni next week, and I have Manny Dingo at the end of the month.
Oh, that's so awesome! What a crazy lineup for November.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah. What? Any new DJs?
I don't know off the top of my head at the moment.
Okay. Well, can't wait to find out.
But yes, I will keep you posted when I know.
Well, on our end, we have no Speakeasy Radio tonight.
No.
I'm the only one around.
You could do it by yourself.
If I could, it would be boring.
Just you and Snacky.
Yeah, totally.
Playing two truths and a lie.
Okay, well, thank you again, Imarra. I always have fun with you.
Well, thank you so much. You are always a delight. And thank you for all of you for tuning in. And until next week, take care, be fashionable, and ready, set, snatch.